Hi everyone and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. I've got some breaking news to report. Yes, the Kazakhstan boxer and current unified middleweight champion, Yanbec Anakuli, I hope I pronounced that right, Janibek in short, he has tested positive for meldonium, which if you don't know is a performance enhancing drug or PED. Now, meldonium, that's been on the banned list of substances since 2016, I believe. Now, that's due to meldonium's unique ability for an athlete to increase their endurance and their power, and its ability to accelerate an athlete's rehabilitation and recovery after heavy workouts. Now, Janibek, he's got to be classed as one of the top fighters in the world of boxing today. He currently holds the WBO and IBF world middleweight titles. He's also currently unbeaten with a record currently of 17 fights, 17 wins, 12 by KO, no losses. Now, two of his title wins actually include wins over two British fighters. There was Essex's Danny Dignam, who Janibek brutally stopped in 2 rounds back in May 2022. I watched that fight and it was an absolute annihilation. In doing so, Janibek acquired the vacant WBO title. And in November that same year of 2022, Janibek defended that title against London's Denzel Bentley, very good fighter from over in South London. Denzel Bentley, Janibek defeated Denzel Bentley in that title fight over 12 competitive rounds, but Janibek won. I've got to say, penny for those guys' thoughts, Danny Dignam and Denzel Bentley, when they heard about the news, which I'm sure they would have done by now. So penny for those guys' thoughts. Anyway, the failed PEDS test has meant that Janibek's scheduled title unification fight, which was supposed to be this weekend against Cuba's Erislandy Lara, the WBA champion, has now been cancelled. I think I'm reading where Lara will now defend his WBA title against a guy called Johan Gonzalez. But back to Janibek. I mean, as for him, not quite sure what will happen next. And I say this because a few weeks ago, I did a video on this very same channel about another world champion, WBC light welterweight champion, Puerto Rico Subriel Mateus, who failed a PEDS test for ostarine. Now, the latest I'm hearing on that situation is that apparently the levels of ostarine found in Subriel Mateus' system are said to be below the applicable threshold as used by certain jurisdictions, one being the New York State Athletic Commission, which is the commission which is going to oversee the title fight between Subriel Mateus and Sheffield's Dalton Smith, which is due to take place in January. Now, from what I'm reading at the moment, that fight could still go ahead on January the 10th in Brooklyn, so we'll see what happens there. But back to Janibek. I've got to say, here we go again, people. Another high-profile boxer failing a PED test. Or is it a case of the testing procedures are now becoming more robust, more efficient? Are they finding these guys out? Either way, it's not a good look for boxing. When I say it's not a good look for boxing, it's good, obviously, that the cheats are being caught. But it's not a good look for boxing that so many high-profile boxers appear to be failing drugs tests. Now, you know my views on this thing, people. I'm a staunch advocate against drugs cheat. I think not only do PEDs compromise the core integrity of boxing in terms of its competitive integrity, I think, and perhaps more importantly, that the cheats also make what is already a dangerous sport even more dangerous. And that is something to be quite worried about, to be honest. Because as I've stated many times on this channel and on other forums I've appeared in, boxing is unlike a lot of other sports. Boxing is one of those unique sports where it involves intentional harm. And this makes the stakes of a fair fight exceptionally high. Boxing is inherently dangerous. It's the only sport I know, or one of a few sports I know, where to render your opponent unconscious is a stated aim of your opponent. So boxers using PEDs is a bad, bad look. Boxers using PEDs, I mean, it can dramatically increase the likelihood of serious, life-altering or even fatal injury for their opponent. And the reason I say that are obvious. I mean, boxers on PEDs, they gain an artificial but increased advantage in terms of strength, power, and endurance. Boxers on PEDs often gain what I would say is unnatural muscle mass, which means that they are able to increase their ability to punch harder and beyond their natural potential. Boxers on PEDs, they're able to boost their natural levels of stamina artificially. This means that a fighter, in effect, can maintain greater power for longer periods. Going into the later rounds, they can still be relatively fresh compared to their opponent, therefore able to inflict a lot more damage, which obviously is very dangerous. It also allows fighters to train harder and recover quicker. Therefore, they're able to step into the ring with an advantage, knowing that they've been able to do their camps with a lot easier than clean opponents. They don't go into the ring with the natural wear and tear that their clean opponent would go into it. So that gives them a distinct advantage. And then there are the severe health risks of fighters who use PEDs, including cardiovascular issues when they get older. We've seen fighters get heart attacks, or not just fighters, athletes who've been known to have taken PEDs. They get heart attacks in later years, strokes, liver damage. Not to mention, with boxers, a lot of them suffer from mental instabilities. I'm talking about things like commonly known as roid rage, depression, and other sorts of mental illnesses. So, despite all the dangers of boxers taking PEDs, unfortunately, they still continue to do so. Like I said, the stakes are high, winning titles, making money, being successful. A lot of fighters succumb to the temptation of taking PEDs, and it's becoming a real problem in boxing. And I've said it before on this channel, and I'll say it again, I want to see harsher punishments for drugs cheats. This should include longer bans. I'd also like to see life bans for persistent cheats. I also absolutely agreed with Devin Haney's decision to sue Ryan Garcia back when Ryan Garcia tested positive after beating Devin Haney back in April of 2024. Unfortunately, though, Devin Haney withdrew the legal action. I believe he did that because of the negative pushback he was receiving, not just from people from within boxing, but also the fans. A lot of the fans, certainly the ones I've seen online, seem to be against it. I could never understand that, to be honest. I think he was well within his rights. In fact, I welcome his right to do so. I think if more boxers took that course of action, you might see some boxers refrain from cheating. I think it could act as a deterrent. A successful legal action against a boxer that has cheated could deter others from going down a similar road. But hey, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And it's unfortunate. I mean, what needs to happen for boxing authorities to take the problem of drugs and PEDs in sport seriously? I mean, do we have to seriously wait until somebody dies in a ring at the hands of somebody who was later found to be cheating? I mean, hopefully not, but it would appear that something serious is going to have to happen for the boxing authorities to really take this thing seriously. And when I say seriously, I mean dealing out harsher punishments for people that get caught. That's the only way you're going to, I wouldn't say stop it, because I don't think you'll ever stop it, but you know what I'm saying. The only way you're going to have serious deterrence is to make the punishments harsher. But yeah. But anyway, just thought I'd give you guys that news. Very disappointing, because I actually rated Janibek as a fighter. He's a very good fighter. And to see him succumb to this is very disappointing indeed. I mean, I should qualify that by saying that as of the time of filming, I don't think his B sample has been tested, or even if he has requested that his B sample be tested, he has that right to do so. I've not seen anywhere where he's done that. I have seen a statement from him where he's denied cheating and said he's a clean athlete. But hey, look, they all say that, don't they? Which boxer do you ever know that's actually, when he's been found to have been tested positive, which boxer have you ever known to hold their hands up and say, well, actually, yeah, I did that? I don't think I've ever seen one yet. But anyway, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching LL Sports TV. I really appreciate it. Please spread the word. Please like, share, and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. I am out.